Kaya alad. Kahoy tikot-tikun asray alad. This is talking about Radharani. Not Bisakis.
There's another verse. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीरवन चारी यशोदानंदन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीरवन चारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राधे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नरोत्तम दासे को हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे माधुर्य नाम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे हरे जय राधा कुंड जय श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड जय श्याम कुंड राधे श्याम 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 जय गुरु परंपरा जय गुरु परंपरा जय गुरु परंपरा जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय षडगोस्वामी जय षडगोस्वामी जय षडगोस्वामी जय सच्चिदानंद ठाकुर भक्ति विनोद सच्चिदानंद ठाकुर भक्ति विनोद गौर किशोर जय गौर किशोर जय गौर किशोर जय भक्ति सिद्धांत श्रील प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत श्रील प्रभुपाद जय भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद जय भक्ति वेदांत नारायण महाराज भक्ति वेदांत नारायण महाराज गुरुदेव जय जय गुरु गौर हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नाम चिंतामणि कृष्ण चैतन्य रस विग्रह पूर्ण शुद्धो नित्य मुक्तो अभिन्नत्वां नाम नामिनो जयति जयति नामानन्दरूपं मुरारिर्विरमित निजधर्मध्यां पूजादियत्नं कथमपि सकृतं प्राणिनां यत् परमम् अमृतम् एकं जीवनं भूषणम्। श्री हरिनाम चिंतामणि की जय, नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय, गाय गौर प्रेमानंद। Since I am not qualified to discuss the further aspects of Bhajan Pranali, about Ekadash Bhav, etc., I will read one of the commentaries of Bhakti Vinod Thakur to this fifth Bhajan Pranali, where we skipped it in the last two kathas. This commentary is very, very important. It describes the whole krama of Nam Bhajan. It is a commentary to verse number 22. It was like when we were discussing about in the beginning stages, when we were discussing about the general glories of the holy name and how the bhajan started, Bhakti Vinod Thakur has written this commentary. It's very interesting. Sadhana kramo अंतर्मुख भक्त महाशय प्रथमे दश अपराध त्याग पूर्वक केवल नाम स्मरण ओ कीर्तने नैरंतर्य साधन करिबे. This is the sadhan kram for Nam Bhajan for all sadhakas. This verse starts from pratham. Pratham means in the beginning. This kram does not require qualification to reach Swarasiki Upasana, or it doesn't require qualification to reach Mantra Dhyanmai Upasana. It starts right from Nam Nami Ek Tattva Vishwasa Korya Dash Nama Aprad Chhadi Nirjane Bosiya. If you give up the 10 offenses and you understand that name and the named are one, just have faith in that Vishwasa Korya, then you can start this kram directly. In this kram he says that you have to antarmukh. First of all, the qualification is the devotee should be introvert, in the sense that a devotee should inclined. The devotee should want Nam Phal. Should want the results of Nam to manifest in the heart. One should chant Nam for that purpose, not extrovert, bahirmukh, serious about Nam. So an introvert, antarmukh bhakta mahashay, he will give up the 10 offenses. He will try to give up. Thus aparad tyag purvak. He will try to, and keval, he will take exclusive shelter of Nam, Smaran and Kirtan constantly, Nairantarya, means as constantly as possible. Even if the devotee is a Kanishtadhikari, still such a Kanishtadhikari can take full keval shelter of the holy name. It's not necessary that he has to do deity worship. The word keval is like one can take exclusive, if one has faith that the Nam and Nami are one. Next, how to do this? Spashta Nam Uchcharan Purvak Smarana Kirtan Karibe. The first step in Nam is to pronounce the name very carefully. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you don't pronounce the name carefully, it is known as Varna Vevadhan. In Harinam Chintamani it is mentioned, especially it is very difficult to pronounce the name of Krishna. Honestly, very few devotees actually pronounce it. Please don't feel that I am saying something shocking, but very few devotees actually pronounce the name of Krishna properly, because in Sanskrit it is, when you say no, the tongue should actually make a circle, it should twist and it should touch the top of the palate. Krishna, anastu nivritti vachako, tayor aikyam parabrahma iti vidiyate. Normally we say Krishna, Krishna. When you say na, the tongue is actually touching the bottom of the palate. The tongue is not going round. So when you say Krishna, it's the name of Draupadi or Radharani. Sometimes Radharani is also called as Krishna when she thinks about Krishna and becomes, yeah.
How about the principle that because not our tongues are different from
Bhav is important.
Yeah, Bhav Grahi.
Bhav Grahi.
Even the Chinese Krishna, but then from the heart, they're sometimes from singing like that. No?
But if you have Bhav,
Yeah.
then you will try to pronounce clearly.
But sometimes the tongue really could not like this. Also my pronunciation.
Yeah, I know for Western devotees it is more difficult. In fact, even in Indian languages, this Rana syllable is not there in all the languages. It is in Sanskrit, in English, in Marathi, some languages. Like in Gujarati, it's not there. In this, it's a very tricky syllable. So if you see Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, I mean, if you see in Gaudiya Math traditional, they never say Krishna, they say Krishna, Krishna, even Krishna. The na should be pronounced properly. And there is also, I have seen little bit difference in pronunciation of Rama. Now, in Sanskrit, if you have a ma and if you have a halant below ma, it will become Ram. If you say Ram, it's not correct. The exact pronunciation is Rama. Ma is full, it's not half. Rama. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you pronounce it, you will feel the ecstasy coming. I mean, if you try to avoid the Varna Vyavadhan, obviously, there are two Vyavadhans, I agree. One is Varna Vyavadhan, other is Tattva Vyavadhan, mentioned in Harinam Chintamani. Means somebody chants the Mahamantra, but that devotee wants to become one with Krishna, or has some philosophical aberrations. So that is more dangerous than Tattva Vyavadhan, that creates more obstacles. But still Varna Vyavadhan is also important, yes.
Varna Vyavadhan refer to mispronunciation of the syllable, or refers to when another syllable comes in between the syllables of the name. Like if you say Raja Mahishi, Raja Mahishi, you have Ra, Ja, and then Mahishi. So here the name Ram is there, Ra, Ja, Mahishi. The name Ram is there, but it's broken by another syllable has been inserted. So I thought this was the meaning of Vyana Vyavadhan, when another syllable was breaking the syllables of the name. I didn't know it would refer to any mispronunciation.
No, because if you're chanting the name of Krishna, one will not put a syllable in between.
No, but it's in the discussion of Namabhas.
Yes.
Namabhas is still powerful, even if there's the...
Yeah, that is a different... But if you read Harinam Chintamani, this Halam Riktam or those kind of words where one syllable is in between, that example is not given in Harinam Chintamani regarding the discussion of Varna Vyavadhan. And Varna means syllable,
Yeah.
Sanskrit syllable. So if one syllable is not pronounced correctly, then the whole name is not pronounced correctly.
How would you reply for scholars like you and Maharaj could figure this, but for conditioned souls like ours?
No, it's I think Maharaj, it's very easy to pronounce Krishna.
Okay, well.
Krishna. Krishna. It's a matter of practice. Within a few days you will perfect the correct pronunciation. Yeah.
Actually, it depends not on the N, but on the R and the S.
Yeah.
Because when this R is a R, and the tongue is already on the roof of the mouth, turned back.
Correct.
And so because the R is the R like this, then the S has to be a sh. In
Yeah.
Sanskrit there are 3 S's. One is sa, one is sh with the tongue behind the teeth, and one is sh with the tongue up and facing back. So because in the letter S the tongue is already back, then the N that follows, it has to be the na. So there are 4 nasal sounds in Sanskrit. They're called Harivedas. The flutes of Krishna. Gaya na nama, Gaya na nama. 5. There are 5 Harivedas. So it's the second Gaya, this one, yeah.
No, Krishna. Yes.
You have to make the S right first. And then the N will come from that S.
Yes. And it's even Kri in my state where I was born. I mean, people say Krishna, and some devotees say Krishna. So technically, if you go in Sanskrit, the below ka, that is not even Kru or is not even Kri. It is somewhere in the middle. Krishna. I'm sorry, I'm making it so complicated. But it's only one name, and why can't, I mean, we can easily learn how to pronounce it correctly. I mean, it's only one name. So spashta, because this word spashta has come here many times, that's why we discussed this. Spashta naam uchcharan purvak smaran kirtan koriben. Now this is very important. We cannot leave smaran for later stages. Smaran should be directly started when the uchcharan is there. Spashta naam uchcharan purvak smaran kirtan koriben. Mind has to think smaran. How? It's described next. And this is for layman devotees. I mean, this is the starting. Yeah.
In the very beginning of the sentence, he said, when the devotee is antarmukh, he is introspective, and he's given up 10 aparads. So there's no such thing as a Kanishta Adhikari who's antarmukh and given up 10 aparads.
No, it's not given up. It says that.
Already speaking about the Madhyamadhikari from the very beginning of the discussion. It says first he's antarmukh and he's given up 10 aparads. And then
No, he's saying that tyag purvak.
Tyag purvak, completely given up 10 aparads.
No, tyag purvak, it doesn't mean he's completely offenseless. If he was completely offenseless, then he would directly see the Leela with the Naam.
No, because it will be Namabhas. It will not be Shuddha Naam yet. It will be first Namabhas.
You know, it is said that aparadha shunya hoye lay Krishna naam tabe to Krishna prem labhe aviram. If you chant without offenses right in the beginning, then what is the need for this process? You will get Krishna prem light in the beginning.
This is chapter 15. It's the last chapter of Harinam Chintamani.
Yes.
So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is describing the first qualification. He said that is antarmukh, right? Introspective.
Yeah.
That you agree on that?
Yeah. But antarmukh has many. It doesn't mean he's a Mahabhagavat.
But I know. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Jaiva Dharma discusses the difference between a Konishta and a Madhyam. And he said the Konishta is Bahimukh and the Madhyam is Antarmukh. So this is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's own word using Antarmukh here. He's not going to contradict himself. So the Konishta Adhikari is not Antarmukh.
My point is,
Bahimukh. So he's already
as if we read this further, we will see that this devotee has not even realized the form while chanting.
Yes.
So obviously he is not Madhyamadhikari. He's starting. He's if you read the next verse, he says, Naam spasht. He gives the qualification to do smaran while chanting the Naam. What is the qualification? It's not a very high qualification.
Antarmukh.
No, he gives in the next line.
But the previous line said Antarmukh.
Antarmukh means in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antarmukh is translated as a person who is serious about bhakti. I mean, Antarmukh means one who is.
Meaning to say, I'm Kanishta Adhikari.
I can let me finish the katha and then.
I'm just hoping that there are many devotees
Yeah.
who can tone it down so they can understand. It's humble request.
Maybe after the.
We can discuss this scholarly. So much.
Naam spashta, sthira, एवं सुखकर होइले श्री श्याम सुंदर रूप ध्यान करिबेन. It's not that Shyam Sundar's Roop is appearing on its own in your heart. If your name has become, if you're pronouncing it clearly, and if the name has become steady, means you're steadily chanting the holy name, and if you are feeling some happiness while chanting the name, then you should meditate on the form of Shyam Sundar while chanting. It's a literal Bengali translation. ध्यान करिबेन. हस्ते माला संख्या मने वा मुखे कृष्ण नामानुसंधान करिबे. करिते नामार्थ जे रूप ताहा चिन्नयने दर्शन करिते थाकिबेन. So here you take a mala, japa mala in your hand, and mone va mukhe, both things have to be engaged. The mind and the mouth. The mouth is chanting the name of Krishna, and the mind also should be engaged. How the mind should be engaged? Krishna nama anusandhan means seek out. Anusandhan. This word anusandhan means you seek out Krishna's form. Korite korite. Korite korite means you have to do it. And namartha jerup. Taha, and the form, what is actually the form of Nam, that one will be able to see gradually. Athwa, if you while chanting the name of Krishna, you are not able to do this. You are not able to do this. Then what is the? He says, Athwa Shri Murtira Sammukh Vasiya Roop Darshan O Nam Smaran Koribe. The word Smaran is clearly used even while doing Roop Darshan. You have to think of the, otherwise why would the Acharyas write so many meanings of the Maha Mantra? There are so many meanings given, even at the end of Harinam Chintamani it is given. So many meanings of the Maha Mantra are given. So these are for us to meditate. Even in Bhakti Vinod Thakur says about Bhakti Rasayan, different verses, which, Sanatan Goswami gave Bhakti Rasayan, which can be meditated on. So the mind, you sit in front, Shri Murtira, in front of a deity, and Roop Darshan O Nam Smaran Koriben. Both have to be going on. Namir Sohit Roop Ekatva Prapt Hoilei Krishna Gun Sakal Smarane Anite. Now this is again interesting. When the Nam Sahit Roop Ek Prapti Hoile, when the Nam and the Roop have become one in your heart, when you are chanting spontaneously, the name of form of Shyam Sundar is arising in your heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When the form of Shyam Sundar is arising in your heart, then you try to abhyas. This word abhyas is used. You try to practice. Anite, smaran. You try to practice to bring Krishna's qualities into your smaran. My realization is, if you don't make an effort, then how will Krishna know that you are eager to relish his qualities? I have seen devotees for 20, 30, 40 years, they are just chanting and they are just hearing the sound and they are not progressing anywhere. They are not even have a glimpse of the form of Krishna. So Harinam Chintamani says that Sakal Prapti Hoile Krishna Gun Sakal means all the 64 qualities of Krishna. Smarane Anite Abhyas Koriben. And that is why Rup Goswami has written Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, listing the 64 qualities so that we can read them and we can bring them into our remembrance while chanting. We can make an effort to remember them while chanting. We should not wait for the time that they will arise spontaneously. Because
We can remember it, but realization of it will come.
Yes.
The point that I was making yesterday, aspire for the next stage, but you cannot aspire for the stage after that until you become mature in that stage. You understand? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was
I agree
saying,
with that. Yeah, yeah.
if a person is chanting and the form has not appeared spontaneously, if they try to remember the qualities, they will be breaking the crown and their realization will not unfold. Clearly.
Yes, but at least one should start with the form.
Yeah.
Make a practice. I mean, of the form to remember. Haribo. Same Prayuji.
The point we're discussing. There's a crown. There is a crown. We agree. We are in agreement.
Yes.
Go, Premanande!
Maharaji, regarding the, you are saying that you have observed that some devotees are focusing on the sound. If they are really sincere this chanting and hearing the sound, will that inspiration come to also focus on the form and afterwards the qualities, isn't it? Because that's what Krishna wants, the sincerity of the
Inspiration will come, but Maharaj, what is that if the pranali given by our acharyas, if it is directly followed, then we don't have to wait for so many years.
Yes, that's also
But the point I'm making here is, this is beginning from Madhyamadika, because he said it is already antarmukh. You know,
I don't expect, Prabhuji, I don't accept that this antarmukha words Madhyamadikari, because here the devotee is chanting with one granthi. Madhyamadikari chants the name constantly. Here the devotee is chanting with one granthi. Start. Yeah,
in the previous verse he said he's chanting 3 lakhs.
No,
it says in the previous verse that he's chanting 3 lakhs.
No.
You read it yesterday.
Yeah, I also differ in the understanding which was given. He in that verse it is mentioned that you start with one granthi and krame finally it will become 3 lakhs. It did not imply that only after completing 3 lakhs you start your Rup Shravan.
What is Granthi?
Granthi means 4 rounds.
4 rounds.
It didn't imply, you see, in the description of a Siddhanta, sometimes one verse gives a complete summary till the end, it talks about till the end. It doesn't mean that only after you come to the level of 3 laksha the form will manifest in your heart. That verse it did not mean. In many places in Harinam Chintamani, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has spoken about more advanced things in advance, just giving a synopsis, like since it is talking about Nam Sankhya, he has said that you start with 4 rounds and you go up to the end, because that verse is talking about Nam Sankhya. But that doesn't mean that the sadhana kram is you reach 3 lakhs and then only meditate on the form.
Can the Nam and Rup become one? In the devotee who is committing namaparad or has anarthas?
It is a matter of the more your anarthas and aparas reduce, the more you will see the form while chanting. It's not black and white. It's not like that you should become completely offenseless, then only the Rup will manifest. It's like you only quoted that verse that Kintu adarad anudinam khalu saiva jushta swadvi kramat bhavet tadgada mool hantri. You take the medicine and then the disease will decrease. We should not say that I will take the medicine after the disease is finished.
But the Nama Rupa Charitari, the smaran of Nama Rupa Gunula comes in the next verse after the verse about attaining ruchi. And smaran is not mentioned in that verse when there is anartha, avidya, the jaundice of the tongue. It says the jaundice should go away, and then smaran of Nam Rup Gunlila becomes in the next verse.
Yes, I mean Updeshamrit is, we have to discuss it separately. I mean we're discussing Harinam Chintamani.
Okay. I will discuss at the end of the class. I want to.
Yeah. So, अथवा श्री मूर्तिर सम्मुखे बसिया रूप दर्शन और नाम स्मरण करिबेन नामेर सहित रूप एकत्व प्राप्ति होइलई कृष्ण गुण सकल स्मरणे आनीते अभ्यास करिबेन. So you try to practice to remember Krishna's pastime, Krishna's qualities when the name and form have become one. Then नाम रूप और गुण एकत्र अभ्यस्त होइले. Again and again this word of practice is used. अभ्यस्त means practice. One has to practice this bhajan kram. Prathame mantra dhyan में लीलार स्मरण करिया ताहार नाम रूप गुणेर सहित Aikya Kori Laiben. That then, when the form, the name, form, and the qualities have become one, then Laiben means you try to remember the mantra Dhyanmai Leela as mentioned in our katha yesterday about the Yoga Pit Darshan, Gopa Gopis surrounding Krishna. You try to meditate.
Maharaji, regarding Radha Kund, are the cowherd boys really there in the Yoga Pit or Madhurya Rasa only? Because this will reveal to us that Radha Kund. Yeah.
This is a good question because Srila Bhaktiratna mentions the cowherd boys in the Yoga Pit. So generally acharyas take it to be the Vrindavan Yoga Pit, not Radha Kund.
Even the Priya Narma Sakhas are here.
Yeah, they could participate in some Leela, like Mangal, because they have some Mahapap also.
Yes.
But in the Yoga Pit, meaning to say the most intimate meeting place.
Yes, there are 7 Yoga Pits in Braj.
No, what I mean is Radha Kund. They're okay, no problem.
Yeah, in Radha Kund also there is one Yoga Pit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Are the cowherd boys included in that Yoga Pit?
Subal, Madhumangal, Ujjwal, they all they have their own kunjas surrounding Sham Kund.
That's not my point, Maharaj.
Though they are in Radha Kund's Leela, obviously.
Yeah.
They are cheering.
But
If you see...
the most intimate section of Radha Kund like that, what is there? Just curious.
It depends on, again, your rasa. Like, according to our Ekadash Bhav, the 11 characteristics, we have a seva in a particular sthan also. In Braj, you may be doing in your Nitya Seva in Nandagaon, or you may be doing in Javat or Radha Kund. Every Manjari form has, whatever you are, you have a particular seva in a particular... It's your primary seva. Whatever is your primary seva, you are situated in a place. So you can meditate on that Yoga Pit.
But the Ekadash Bhav is not come yet.
Yeah, it's not come. Yeah.
Coming later.
Yes. So, no, what I mean to say is, you can meditate on the Yoga Pit, whether it is in Vrindavan, or it doesn't matter. It's the Yoga Pit you have to meditate, whichever your heart feels attracted to. Because right now you have not reached the stage of Swarasiki Upasana. So it is said, you meditate on mantra Dhyanmai Leelaras Smaran Korya, Tahar Nam Rupa Gunero Sohit Aikya Korya Laiben. You bring the Leela also into the mixture of Nama, Rupa and Guna. And Laiben means try to remember, try to make it one. Try to make it one. That's a literal meaning of the statement. Try to make it one with the Krishna's name, form and qualities. Try to make the Leela as one. Shei Samoye Nam Rasera Uday Hoy. And Nam Ras manifests when a Leela becomes one with Nam, Rupa and Guna.
So devotee is already in the stage of Bhav. Because Rasa manifests after Bhav.
These stages are going very fast actually. If we try to consider these stages with from Shraddha to Prem, these stages are going very fast. A devotee can start from a Kanishta and start from Bhajan Kriya, but by the time he is remembering the Rupa and then he is remembering the Guna, he can advance 1 or 2 stages in that Prema. It's not mentioned which Smaran corresponds to which stage.
So the Rupa and Guna can manifest in Bhajana Kriya.
Not in Bhajan Kriya. But Rupa, one can do abhyas, practice of remembering the form at the stage of Bhajan Kriya. That is my point. At the stage of Bhajan Kriya, one can do that abhyas. And I also agree that one should not even artificially try to bring the qualities of Krishna. The next step.
Also, in the stage of Bhajana Kriya, if he is doing Smaran of the Roop, his Smaran is not the Smaran which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, but that Smaran he's doing is one of the angas of Archan. According to Bhaktisiddhanta.
No, he says here it's Keval Nam Smaran or Kirtan. The Archan is not coming in the picture. Here the Bhajan is completely exclusive Nam Bhajan and Smaran and Kirtan. I mean, these Antarmukh, the word Antarmukh means that he has exclusively surrendered to Nam Bhajan. So my point is that I'll read you one essay regarding this of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, which makes it very clear. He says, the holy name of Krishna means divine sound. it can be compared to a capsule of medicine. The capsule is not the medicine. Externally, one capsule may look like another, but within one capsule may be the medicine, and within another it may be cyanide. It is not the sound of Krishna's name that is Krishna. It's very clear. He's written it in English. It is not the sound of Krishna's name which is Krishna. Krishna is within the sound. The holy name must be surcharged with proper spirit, not any mundane sentiment. So there has to be, I'll read further. The divine sound of the holy name must have its origin beyond the area of misconception or maya. Sound must have its origin in Golok Vrindavan. The mere physical sound is not the holy name of Krishna. Repeating only the syllables of the holy name is called mic sound. Mic sound. It has no spiritual essence. The life of the name is absent in offensive chanting. So how to make it the chanting offenseless? This is the crumb. If you don't do abhyas of the form, your chanting will never become offenseless. The most important thing in chanting the holy name of Krishna is spiritual realization backing the name. Backing the name, which is the real name. A tape recorder can pronounce the holy name of Krishna just like a parrot. But a physical sound is not Krishna. In the background, there must be spiritual truth which is conscious. So unless you engage your mind in remembering the meaning of the mantra, the form, there is no background at all. If you are just hearing the syllables, even to pray, even to make a prayer, the holy name to make a prayer, you need to have a prayer. Just simply hearing the syllables like Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada is saying is not a prayer.
Prabhupada talked about the tape recorder in the 1930s.
Yeah, this is directly the words in his essay.
What year is it?
Can try to find out. It's not given. It's in the later stages, not just before his 20 teachings of the Shavali. This is he has written this in a, I think, booklet in English, Nam something. I'll try to find out the source, but it's. You cannot capture the holy name of Krishna simply by vibrating the syllables of the holy name with your tongue. You cannot capture the holy name. Ravana wanted to capture Sita and he thought he did, but factually did not even touch her divine body. Ravana caught only a mundane replica of Sita Devi, an imitation which was like a statue of Sita. You cannot vibrate the holy name simply by moving your lips and tongue. The pure name of Krishna is not lip deep but heart deep. This is famous. Everybody devotee knows Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada's quote. The pure name of Krishna should not be lip deep but heart deep. And heart deep can only come by remembrance. When Chaitanya Bhagavat describes Smaran, remembrance is the life of chanting. There's many examples given of Haridas Thakur, Prahlad, great acharyas. Their unique quality was remembrance. Ultimately, it goes beyond the heart and reaches the land of Krishna. When Krishna comes down, the name comes from the heart and moves the lips and the tongue. The vibration is the holy name of Krishna. When Krishna, in the form of sound, descends from the transcendental world into the heart, and from the heart, controlling every aspect of the nervous system, comes to the lips, the tongues dancing there. This is Krishna's name. That sound is not produced from the material plane. The spiritual sound has to come down into this plane. He can come down, but we cannot so easily go up there. Such a beautiful, essay. The holy name is only realized when we approach him with a very intense serving attitude. At that time, Krishna himself may come down by his grace, being attracted by the pure serving nature. Now, from this verse and from this bhajan kram, we can understand that serving nature, that our desire to serve the name should manifest in the desire to remember the form while chanting the name. It's also service.
Jamuna Jivan also is always emphasizing Seva Bhavanas, that should be a simple height of that is called
Yes. So, and the service starts from the tongue first. And the first service is Amrish Maharaj did Savai Manaha Krishna Padaravindayor. So if while chanting, if your mind is not thinking about the lotus feet of Krishna, then what it will think of? Then your mind will wander. The devotees keep on telling me our mind is wandering. Obviously it will wander because mind is... The ears can hear the sound, but the mind needs to think about the meaning of that sound. Then Krishna can influence the element and produce transcendental sound, dance within the mundane plane. This is the holy name of Krishna, Vaikunta Namagrah. The real name of Krishna. We cannot produce it with our lips. The sound we create with our physical or mental production is not Krishna. He is indifferent to whatever sound we may produce. Yet because he controls everything, he can appear anywhere, in any form, in any place, and in any sound. So my consideration is that even though we are not qualified, if we follow the kram given by our acharyas, then we can even get a glimpse. It may not, and what I have read from Harinam Chintamani, this discussion is there in some previous chapter also about bhajan kram, is that it's a descending path. The revelation of the name is a descending path, and the name is totally independent. We may not be qualified, but the name can give us glimpse. I don't remember that verse. Rup Goswami, Krishna. So it's completely solely on the desire of Krishna and Krishna Nam, what to reveal to us while chanting. A devotee saying...
That's why Srila Prabhupada always wants to talk about attack Krishna and Namadi.
But that doesn't mean... Also, the difference between Shravana and Kirtan and Japa. If one is not qualified to hear a particular rasa katha, then one is not qualified to actually remember it while doing japa. It cannot be like Shukdev Goswami was an acharya for Kirtan Bhakti. He did not do Naam Kirtan specifically. He spoke the Bhagavatam, but that is also Kirtan. So it's not that we can hear higher topics of Rasa Katha and we cannot remember them while japa. One cannot differentiate like that I can hear some topics and I can't remember them while doing japa. Chanting japa is hearing. It is hearing. Rup Shravanena Yogyata Bhavati. It is hearing. So if it applies to all kinds of hearing, one's qualification and one's adhikar. The thing is, from this bhajan krama, we can see that if one follows the instructions of Haridas Thakur and Bhakti Vinod Thakur, one should not worry about one's adhikar. If we just follow the instructions of the acharyas and just try to make the form and the name as one, practice it, and then slowly, in the beginning that name may be an imagination. Okay, if you don't want to and plus it is not imagination based on your whims. You can see the form of Radha Raman For example, you can meditate on authorized forms of the Lord, which are established by the Goswamis. If you don't want to speculate some form of Krishna while chanting, you can meditate on authentic forms of Krishna. Even when you remember the qualities, you don't remember the qualities whimsically. You read Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu and you try to remember them. It's in the beginning, if the Rupa Shravana may, yesterday the verse which we read from Bhakti Sandarbha, there is another verse in Krama Sandarbha also similar. So that verse, it says Rupa Shravanena Yogyata Bhavati, but that verse doesn't say that you should not try to develop that Yogyata. You get Yogyata in Rupa Shravan, then you go to Guna Shravan, you try to.
It says Rupa Shravanena Tad Udoy Yogyata Bhavati. By hearing about the form,
Yes.
one gets the eligibility for the form to awaken.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. Yes.
Talking about
Yes.
the form actually awakens
Yes.
before you go to the next stage.
Yes. Yes.
So you can't like rush through the stages
Yes.
without a genuine awakening, which is
Yes.
coming by Krishna's
I
mercy.
agree with that. But the first topic we see, the Rup Shravanena, the form, hearing about the form. That's what I want to discuss about. Hearing of the form is not only during Katha. You can hear about the form while chanting. When you are chanting the name, you can make the name and the form as one. So you are hearing the form actually.
But I'm just telling you should not go to the next level before
Yes.
the first level is complete.
Yes. Lastly, I want to just 5 minutes more. Fine. Since the topic was about rasa previous days, I had compiled a very long article, 17 pages article about who is qualified for Raganuga Bhakti and who is qualified to hear Radha Krishna's Leela. I would like to read a few of these. Bhakti Vinod Thakur writes in Prem Pradeep. He says, "Ei Rupa Sabha Amita." I will forget the Bengali. If somebody wants, they can read. If I explain the topic of Radha Krishna's pastime in an assembly, it could be harmful for the unqualified devotees. Higher truths cannot be attained unless one is situated on a higher platform. Just as higher knowledge gradually arises in all scientific literature, likewise confidential truths are attained in devotional literatures by proper qualification. Bhakti Vinod Thakur writes in Chaitanya Shikshamrit chapter 3 part 2. He says one should not discuss topics of rasa with anyone except highly qualified persons on the same level of spiritual advancement. Then he writes, of course, Sridhar Maharaj is, Bhakti Vinod Thakur writes in Shikshamrit chapter 7 part 1. He says, those who have attained the level of prema are completely detached from worldly pleasure, are qualified for rasa. Those who have not attained pure rati and sense control make futile attempts to become qualified for rasa by practicing rasa. That taste which arises naturally in a person on the level of prema is called rasa. Beautiful. I mean the definition of Bhakti Vinod. That taste which arises naturally in a person on the level of prema is called rasa. The discussion of rasa is only a description of how the various elements combine in the different rasas. It's not a part of sadhan. Therefore, if anyone says that he will teach you sadhan of rasa, he is an impostor. Bhakti Vinod Thakur in Jaiva Dharma chapter 28 says, who is not qualified to thus taste the nectar of transcendental rasa? As it is an offense, very nicely as it is an offense to give the holy name to unqualified person, so it also must be an offense to explain rasa to unqualified person. Bhakti Vinod writes in Chaitanya Shikshamrit chapter 6 part 5. Not everyone is qualified to read the daily pastimes of Radha and Krishna. It is esoteric knowledge of great wonder which must be kept secret. One should not let those who are not qualified hear these topics. As long as the soul has not attained greed for the spiritual world on the path of raga, the description of this pastime must be kept hidden from those persons. As long as the person has no realization of the spiritual nature of the transcendental name, form, qualities and pastimes of Krishna, he has no qualification for hearing these pastimes.
They are citing the Vikrititam Brajavadudir Sloka by...
There is an explanation. That's an explanation. Maybe Prabhuji can give it better, but Vishwanath Chakrabarti gives an explanation that Shraddhan Rito Nunushrayat Atha Varna Nedya Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Pratilabhya Kamam. So that verse, that Shraddha is not this Shraddha. The word Shraddha which is there in that verse, it is not that Adav Shraddha. It said Shraddha for the Gopis Leela. One has to develop, then it will act like a medicine. It will like counteract the lust in your heart. But that Shraddha is not this Shraddha. That Shraddha is Vastu, Apekshani, Ruchi, Anishtita, Nishtita, Bhakti. You come to higher levels in Madhuri, Kadambini. And
the calm that it gets rid of is not the calm that the ordinary person has.
Yeah.
It's the remnant of the calm in the person who is developed
Yes.
Madhyamika. It's a remnant.
Praiki, some calm is remaining. Next, he gives in chapter 7, part 7. These topics are more elaborately... Now, Ujjwal Neelmani and Jaiva Dharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said these books are not for everybody. He says, in fact, I remember said that Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada wanted to print Ujjwal Neelmani. He asked Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, print 2 copies.
How is Geet Govinda?
Geet Govinda, yeah, Geet Govinda.
One for you and one for me.
One for
I don't mean me and Maharaj.
What he does is, instead of explaining these higher books in Chaitanya Shikshamrit, he says, by consulting these books, those who are qualified can realize their nature. But for fear of offense by unqualified persons, I will not describe them. Those who are qualified, let them read. Let them. He says in chapter 7, part 7 again, people who have strong attraction for gross material pleasure and cannot understand this topic should not really think or discuss of these topics of rasa, because they will think that these are all material activities and criticize them. They will say, oh, what is this? They will think it's mundane. If they do appreciate, and even if they appreciate, they will become degraded as sahajas. It's surprising. If you talk about higher topics of rasa to unqualified people, then if they don't appreciate, they will commit an offense of criticism. And if they appreciate, they will become sahajas. A person this is in chapter 30 of Jaiva Dharma. A person who is not renounced in this way is not qualified to understand the spiritual rasas. Therefore, people in general are not qualified to understand the Madhur Rasa. Madhur Rasa is very difficult to understand. It's not easy to find a person qualified to understand it. The Rasa is very confidential. Therefore, it is appropriate to keep it hidden from general view. In Prakrit Ras Shata Dushani by Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, he says, Rasika Guru Rasagan Ayogyero Rasagan Korena. One who is Rasika, Guru, one who is really knows Rasa, he will never do Rasagan to an unqualified audience.
Rasagan singing.
Talking about Rasa and the intimate Leelas of Radha and Krishna. So he writes in chapter 7, part 7, he says, the highest knowledge is prema. That is revealed in 2 ways in the activities of Krishna. Directly it is obtained through the daily 8-fold pastimes. Indirectly it is obtained by the killing of the demons from Putana to Kansa. These pastimes exist symbolically in Vraja and only as impressions in Goloka. Actually they are not found here and cannot exist here. Reading the indirect pastimes, the devotees can purify himself. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained what each demon stands for, which anartha. Hearing those leelas is very important. And those leelas are not present in they are only as impressions in the Nitya Leela. Because demons don't come in the Nitya Leela. So hearing those pastimes is recommended rather. He can then taste the direct pastimes and perceive Goloka. If the aspirant for prema very carefully cultivates in this way, he will understand all these matters. Then Bhakti Vinod Thakur writes in Dashamul Tattva, he says, on the path of rag, however, it is necessary to avoid imitation or deception. If that occurs, it produces disturbance and obstacles. Though the person may think that his corrupted rag is real rag, finally material association turns that rag into material attraction and causes fall down of the jiva. On attaining greed for the mood of the Vrajvasis, no other attraction remains. When that greed arises, the practitioner immediately, completely disinterested in sinful activities, piety, social duty, neglect of duty, forbidden actions, speculation and dry renunciation, that person becomes eligible for hearing about rasa. In fact, I did not read that, but if you read the 5 dashas, Apan dasha, Shravan dasha starts. That is the time when one has this Ekadash Bhav has manifested, then the Shravan Dasha really starts. That is the time when the devotee should go to a Rasika. That is recommended here, that you should go to a Rasika, Shuddha Rasika, and hear Rasika Katha. Because you have already developed that greed. Yes, sorry, time is up.
2-3 questions.
Hmm.
One is, in this discussion, actually, I'll ask this question because this topic is fresh.
Yes.
Well, actually, the black one is black. It's okay. I'll come. Hare Krishna. The other one is no, some orange one is good. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, in this explanation, I'm talking from the perspective of a listener.
Okay.
Oh, echo comes. You mentioned 2 qualifications. Once you said that he has understood the transcendental nature of Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes. And then right towards the end, you spoke about that if this genuine greed has come, he is not interested in anything material.
Yeah.
So can you put some more light on these 2 qualifications? Because I don't know what it means that to understand the transcendental nature of Krishna's name, form, quality, pastimes. Then Krishna's name and form are not different is a very high platform.
Sometimes one may think that one is attracted to Radha and Krishna's pastimes, but actually it's only imagination. One may think that I feel attraction for Radha Krishna's Leela, so now I become qualified to hear. That is mentioned by Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada in the next, you can read the whole article, you'll get the answer. He says, those who have chanted Harinam, Lakhnam for 15 to 20 years, they are eligible to speak and discuss Raskatha. Yeah, Ashtakaliya Leela and even Raskatha. The word Rasa is also used.
What does Raskatha mean?
It's explained in Chaitanya Shikshamrit. Rasakatha means the Madhur Ras, and the other Katha of taking instructions from Krishna's Leela, like the demons coming, that one can hear at that stage.
Okay. Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Regarding the chanting and remembering. So, for the benefit of all the other devotees, Baba said, these conditions, so I don't know what you should call us. But for us, we concluded that one can aspire for, endeavor for, understanding or realizing Krishna's form.
Yes.
And this way he will attain it. We concluded that. But then another point came up is that it should be for the Antarmukh. It should be for the Antarmukh. And Maharaj's backing was that in Jaiva Dharma, Bhakti Vinod Thakur said that Antarmukh is a Madhyamadhikari. Now, also in your explanation, you said in Harinam Chintamani that a person
One should
think
start.
about-
The pratham word is used. One should start with it.
Yeah, you should think about Shyam Sundar.
Hmm.
If you cannot think,
Ah.
then you have a picture
Yeah,
in
yeah,
front. So
yeah.
for
Deity,
deity
deity.
himself.
Yeah.
So I'm not. So even a Madhyam Adhikari is in this position that he cannot.
No,
think
that's
of
what
Shyam
I'm
Sundar
saying.
And he has to have a deity in front. So this line is indicating that even a Kanishta
Yeah, he can start.
can
He
do
can-
that because now he can't think of Shyam Sundar in his mind. His mind is so contaminated that he has a deity in front
Hmm.
of him.
Yes.
So can we reconcile this point for the
Hmm.
benefit of all?
Hmm.
At least they will leave with something
Hmm.
to Gurgaon and Delhi.
Hmm.
So your point is a Kanishta and a Madhyama can do that, and based on the Harinam Chintamani.
Yes.
Subhas, can you put please some light on this so that we have something to go back with?
The awakening of the Krishna's Nam, Rup, Gun and Lila in the heart, spontaneously by the power of, it's Namabhas which awakens this, Shraddha Namabhas. This comes in the stage of Ruchi. So the devotee in the stage of Nishtha is in a middle stage where most of the anarthas are run. And now he's become Antarmukh. And then but he cannot spontaneously bring the form yet because Ruchi hasn't come yet. So he'll have to see the deity like this and chant, and then Nishtha Hola Upajoy Premara Taranga. By being very steady in chanting in the stage of Nishtha, he's Antarmukh, he's free from Anartha, and then Ruchi will come and spontaneously the form, the qualities, the associates. Then in the stage of Asakti, the pastimes, Mantramaya Upasana, and then Bhaktiratna Thakur will say here, as you were reading in Harinam Chintamani, he says, the Mantramaya Upasana Lila manifests in the heart, and then the Sattvic Bhavs come. So that is crossing over from Asakti into Bhav, and then in Bhav, then the Swarasiki Lila starts to appear. So this is the precise crown of each individual stage.
My point was, just 1 minute. My point was that if Ruchi is required to do practice of the form while chanting, then
No, I didn't say that. I said it actually awakens in Ruchi.
Yeah,
it awakens.
Maharaj addressed that.
Yeah.
If somebody is a Nishtha,
Yes.
and he's nearly there, for him it's required. But what about the ones who are in Anartha?
It is not.
They should also sit in
Yeah.
They should also
Yeah.
sit.
Yes.
Okay, so then everybody, it's clear that the ones who are Anartha heading towards Nishtha, for them also is recommended to sit in front of a deity, so the strong impression of the form comes, and then slowly it can awaken.
In the earlier chapters of Harinam Chintamani, he even mentions that if the form disappears in your heart, if the practice, you open your eyes, you see the form, and if the form disappears in your heart, you again open your eyes and look at the form. Till the time that the name and the form, and ultimately I accept that there will be a stage which will come where they will spontaneously arise.
That is Ruchi.
That is Ruchi. But this practice helps us. See, this is not an artificial practice. You are not jumping. Because it is recommended by our acharyas. You are not jumping. It's a desire you are expressing to Krishna that I want to progress.
I'm so happy that everyone, especially the most senior devotees, have concluded on one point, so that really makes everyone in the class
Yes.
feel really good. Very good.
Quoting Bhaktiratna and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati.
It's when the churning of nectar takes place.
Very nice. Very nice. Just one more thing on the conversation which was on the Koti Sukh Pai. So we were one aspect of that discussion was that the Sakhis and the Manjaris are experiencing so much more joy than they would experience by meeting Krishna directly. That was one aspect of the discussion.
Yes.
And the second aspect of the discussion was that they are experiencing so much more joy than what Radharani feels herself. So much more happiness than Radharani feels herself. So there were two aspects of this discussion. So just one thing came to my mind, so I want to bring it up, so maybe you can put some more light. Like Mahaprabhu, when he's talking about coming to this world and the reasons for coming, and the third aspect of this coming, the Radha Pranaya Mahima, the happiness. So he wants to know and understand Radharani's happiness.
Yeah.
He's not talking, especially Radha Pranaya Mahima. It's not talking about the Sakhis and Manjaris.
But it's surprising if you see the Chatak Parvat Leela, he is actually plucking flowers.
And one mention is there.
In many places, he has actually himself He is relishing that mood also.
That's fine.
He tasted Saki Bhav, Manjari Bhav, even Rukmini's Bhav.
Yeah.
He tastes many Bhavs. But the cause of his coming is Radhika Saki.
But that happened is that Madhavakya Mahabhav, which she wants to experience. But then he's talking about Radha specifically. He's not saying that the Sakis and Manjris, that they are 100 times
No,
more.
the thing is, their happiness is more, or it may, at least it is equal. I mean, this may be a discussion about this verse, but at least I have not brought those verses today. But in Adi Leela, there is a verse which separately says that Radharani experienced 10 million times more than Krishna, and the Sakhis also experienced 10 million times more than Krishna. All Sakhis are, the word Sakhis are mentioned, not only Radha. All Sakhis experienced 10 million times more than Krishna. So the thing is, it is only Radha Bhav which is giving happiness to the Sakhis and Manjaris also. Their happiness is not independent of Radha.
Yes.
If Radha is not happy, they are not happy.
Yes.
That's why in that sloka, they're glorifying the Manjari Bhav because this is what you'll experience. It's coming from Radharani. That's why Prabhupada is saying like Radhika.
Yes.
Coming from Radhika, therefore the blessing of Radharani is that they're
Radha
experiencing
Bhav
so
includes
much
everything.
happiness like that.
In Ujjwala Nilama, there's a description of the Crown Prakash of the Sai Bhav, and it goes up to Madanakya Mahabhav. So Madanakya Mahabhav is described as Sarva Bhavat Gumolasi Madanoyam Paratpara Rajate Lagini Sano Radhyam Eva Yasada. All the various different stages of the emotions of the Sai Bhav, they all come at the same time. And this is called the Madanakya Mahabhav. That Madanakya Mahabhav is Rajate Ladini Saro, the essence of Ladini. Radhayam Eva Yasada, and it's only in Radhika. So Ladini Shakti means joy, the happiness. And that highest joy is only in Radhika. However, because of Yavadashray Briti, it can go to others. But they cannot experience more than what she's experienced because she's the essence and the source of all. She's Purna Shakti, the Purna Ladini. So it will.
So I think again is being reconciled when you say that at least it's equal. At least it's equal. So what is your suggestion about the second aspect, where they experience million times more happiness than meeting Krishna directly? What is your?
That's the same thing. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, both are 10 million times more. Radha feels 10 million times more. Gopis feel 10 million times more.
So we have agreed on all points.
Alright, one very fine point. And I want to present this a little bit from my experience with my Gurudev. He was cautious in speaking Rasakatha in general audience, but when there was many devotees who have come to Braj Mandal to seriously practice devotion and undergoing so much difficulties on Braj Mandal Parikrama, and then in each place he would tell the pastimes, and they are full of rasa, of course. But the persons, they don't have the adhikar for rasa actually. The Srimad Bhagavatam itself is also a rasa grantha. Srimad Pivata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. And all of us, we have to all read and study and hear and chant Srimad Bhagavatam. That's also a rasa grantha. And then another point is, in regard to the awakening of lobe, greed, Rupa Goswami wrote, Tattad bhavadi madhuriye, shute di yadapekshate, nata shastana yuktin chata lobapati lakshanam. The symptom that greed is awakened is that when hearing about the sweetness of the bhags of the residents of Vrindavan, one's heart hankers for that. In other words, it seems like a catch-22. If you can't hear about it until you have the greed, and the greed doesn't come unless you hear about it.
The greed comes.
So the point I'm trying to express here is that it's not forbidden to tell some Katha of Radha Krishna's Leela which has some ras in it to those who are sincere and surrendered. They're trying to advance. And because if no one hears it, then the greed will never come to attain it. This is one point. So it depends upon the expertise of the speaker. If the speaker knows how to present it in such a way that it will
not only the expertise, the whole, whether the speaker himself, the rasa, whether the speaker first of all has to be in the rasa. Speaking theoretically about rasa is not. If one is having only theoretical knowledge about rasa, one is not qualified to speak about rasa.
For example, a Madhyamadikari the Nam, Roop, Gun, and Parikar and Leelas of Krishna that's starting to come in his heart. If he speaks about this, he has realization of Leela, but he hasn't attained Rasamaya Bhakti yet. Also.
So one should speak according to one's level of advancement, and because another regarding that adhikar, I would in Harinam Chintamani, if you read one of the offenses is to give naam to those who don't have adhikar. In that place, Haridas Thakur mentions that to create that lobe and adhikar for the Shuddha Naam and Shuddha Katha, Gauranga Mahaprabhu did Nama Sankirtan. The whole rasa is there in Nam Sankirtan, but it is in hidden form. A Rasika Bhakta may be sitting and singing Harinam, he may be in his Siddha Deha. He is not explaining about rasa explicitly, but he is still giving rasa to the listeners by the potency of that Nam, his own bhav, his own rasa is there. So, a lobe can be generated in that way also. It's not necessary to speak about rasa katha beyond our adhikar to generate that lobe, because that rasa is there in that sound vibration. Like even if a devotee is speaking like any verse from Bhagavatam, like Shranvatam Svakatha Krishna or Pravishta Karna Randrena, he may be situated in his Siddha Deha. Every verse may actually be a Uddipan for his Siddha Deha. So Radha, like in Bhagavatam, you mentioned about Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam, Radharani is kept hidden. And even Dasham Skanda is only approached with lot of adhikar, like you have to read all the 9 cantos and go like that. So what I feel is that for hearing Bhagavatam, everybody has adhikar. I mean, but to enter into the higher levels, the speaker can speak up to the level of his own. Thank you. I'm sorry if Kirtan.
That's why Gurudev is always emphasizing the Anusrunayad and Anugatya.
Yeah. Yeah, even Prabhuji made that point. Anusankirtanam or Sukirtanam. You have to following Sukirtananu means. I think that Seva Sadhak Rupena and Siddha, that verse even applies to this Rasakatha. That even speaking Raskatha, one may be actually giving Raskatha, but not speaking about Rasa. He may be hiding it, his own Rasa, but he may be actually giving the Rasa in the form of the Naam which is coming from the he may be talking about the Leela of the demons, or he may be talking about. Anyway.
One more consideration in this is that Srila Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbha discusses that in regard to Leela Katha, there are degrees of Rahasyata. There's confidential, but there's more confidential, most confidential, and so on. And so, Srila Prabhupada once, some devotee said, we should not hear about the gopis. And Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter back, and he said, do not boycott the gopis. I never said that anyone should boycott the gopis. I said, if you speak about them, it should be done with great respect, and in such a way it should not be misunderstood. So Jiva Goswami gives an example. He says that there are different types of Leela of Krishna, and they can be discussed, but there is very confidential Nikunja Leela of Radha and Krishna. And if a person, they experience Purush Vikar, that means in their body, like the male body has some transformation when lust comes. If one is affected by the Purush Vikar, the transformation of lust in the body, then hearing about the very confidential Rahasya Nikunjali of Radha Krishna it will be Bhav Virod. It will actually be against the development of your spiritual mood. So it's not like black and white. You should
but Ujjwal Neelmani.
You have to see what type of pastimes are appropriate and which also should be hidden.
Yes. Even Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he published the first part of Jayo Dharma. First two parts, the Rasa Vichar he was not publishing, because Rasavichar and Ujjwal Nilmani are like same. So Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu is wonderful even, but when it goes to the topics like Ujjwal Nilmani, I don't think any one of us is qualified. I mean, it's like it's the PhD of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So anyway, it's
Pujyapad Srila Bhaktiratna Sadhu Maharaj ki Jai.
Srila Prabhupada,
Jai.
Gurudev ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Radhe. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Radhe. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. भाव से Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. नाम नाचे कृष्ण नाचे नाचे प्रेम धम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jai Radhe Shyam, Jai Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Radhe Radhe Shyam, 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 Radhe Shyam. Jai Radhe Shyam, Jai Radhe Radhe Shyam, Jai Radhe Shyam. Radha Kund Dham, Radha Kund Dham, Dham. Radha Kund Dham, Radha Kund Dham, Kund Dham. Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Bhakti Vinod, Jaya Vinod, Jaya Bhakti Vinod. Jaya Kamala Manjari Thakur, Kamala Manjari Thakur Bhakti Vinod. Gurudev, 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 Gurudev.
Gaur Gobind Swami.
Jaya Gaur Gobind Maharaj, Jaya Gaur Gobind Maharaj, Gaur Gobind Maharaj, Jaya Gaur Gobind Maharaj. Jaya Narayan Maharaj, Narayan Maharaj, Jaya Narayan Maharaj. Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Gurudev, Gurudev. Harinam, 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 Jaya Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय, श्री राधा कुंड धाम की जय, श्री राधा कुंड श्रोता गण की, श्री गुरु परंपरा की जय.